Hello guys. Welcome to Hybrid Flutter. This is Aman here again. Welcome to my third episode of getting started with Flutter casual in a casual way. So, in the previous video, I talked about stateless and stateful widgets in Flutter ecosystem, which were like main basic building blocks before you even get started on Flutter. Today I'll be talking about the basic widgets which are being used in Flutter, like in the UI part and as well as for example, if you want to make your own application, then what are the requirements? How do you start? Do you just directly start a code on your own, code it, or you just analyze first? Like, what's the step? What is the basic approach you should follow when starting a new project, right? By new project, I mean a new application. What will it have? What functionalities it will have, right? And how will it cater to the users? So, like that is a broad approach which a developer takes if he or she wants his app to be listed on the Play Store so that other users can use it. This video is basically split into two parts. The first one wherein we will talk about basic widgets in Flutter, and the second part wherein we will talk about the life cycle of the project, where like what things to keep on mind before starting the project and what steps to follow through. I have compiled some human interface guidelines as well as some suggestions from Apple ecosystem as well as the internet to show you through how we can start with a new project. Before that, let's start with the basic widgets in Flutter. So let me do a thing. Let me open the Flutter tab. So here we have these basic widgets. These are powerful basic widgets which are built upon which other widgets are built upon on different widgets. So these are the basic widgets which come through. So this is the text widget. It lets you create a run of style text within your application. This is the most basic widget which you will need on the UI part. Second is the row and column. Okay, these flex widgets will let you create flexible layouts in both the horizontal and vertical directions. Then we have stack, and then we have container. So most of the UI which you will build will be based on these five widgets. These are the basic widgets which you have to follow through. And if you know how to properly use these widgets, this will very much come in handy when building UI very fast. Okay, so let's get started with this. Okay, let me do one thing here. So let's open the previous project which we created in the previous video. If you haven't watched the previous video, please go through it before even seeing through this video. Otherwise, you won't understand a thing, and I'm honest there. In the previous video, here we created a basic Flutter project, right? And I also explained you about stateless and stateful widgets and what's the build method, what's build context, what's init state, what is the life cycle of of a stateful widget, and all those things, right? And what will happen when you call a set state. So in the previous video, I want to correct one thing which I already put on the comments, but I want to again tell you in person that set state is called regardless of any diffing, like regardless of checking if the state has been changed or not. Set state basically means that we want the framework to call the build method. So it will call regardless the value has changed or not. So use this with caution. If you really want the variable or particular thing which you want to reflect it on the UI, then only use set state. So this was the correction. Now let's move on to the part where we'll be leveraging those basic widgets. Okay. We already have some widgets which already Flutter gave us in the starter project. So we have this scaffold. First of all, before going through all these basic widgets, first we need to understand what is scaffold here first. So let me tell you what is it. If we go through hover it, it says it creates a visual scaffold for material design widgets. What does that mean? It means that there's a guideline called material design for Android and Cupertino for iOS, as you know. So what scaffold will do is basically creates a structure for the material design widget. So basically, it's easier, to keep material design widgets inside. So you already get all those properties, so you don't have to fix it. For example, in scaffold, we have this app bar property. So we don't need to give the app bar size, position, everything else. It will automatically take it as it is. Why? Because it's already providing a suite of some configuration which is already present there in the scaffold. So to show you how it will work, what we will do is we will just run the app once. Okay. Okay. So running the application, we'll see through key why the scaffold is necessary and like why it can save you development time, right? Okay. So meanwhile it is running, we'll see through other widgets. So here this is an app bar which will be the top part of your application where you will have title, background color, and all those things which will be fixed. We have here this body which will contain the layout, like the inside layout, which you will see the content basically. And we have this floating action button, and we also have bottom sheet and other properties which we'll go through again. So our application has been run now. Now what we will do is, see here we have this app bar. This is our app bar, Flutter demo homepage. From where this title is coming, you might be wondering, widget.title. What we are doing is we are passing it in another class because this title is required when we are actually going through home in the material design, sorry, in the material app. Then we are specifying the title. That's why it is displaying there. Okay. Now here in my home page, I have this text widget, which shall have a widget.title. Now what also we have here is text also has multiple plethora of properties which we can leverage through. One being the style of it. For example, if we don't like the style, we want to give our own style, then we will use a text style widget here. Okay. We can give a color, for example, if we want white color, and we can also, give the font size. For example, if we want 25 as a font size, we can also give font weight. We can also give font family, but in that way, we have to import that for font family there up above. So we'll go through that later on the later part. Just a minute. Yeah. So, yeah, so I have this font weight property. I'll set it to W700, which would be, I guess, bold. Now here I'm getting some, suggestions. It's saying use constant with the constructor to improve performance. Why is it saying so? So I wondered, and I found that we have to use this constant modifier so that whenever we hot reload it. So basically, what happens when we hot reload, then again is it basically calls the run app build method, and basically it calls the run app which is attached to our the class, and it reloads that, right? But if we put the constant here, we are telling the Flutter framework that these values are not being changed in any case whatsoever. So it will not reload this unless until we are removing it or we are adding another thing. That's why it's very best and very good practice to use constant in every particular widget which is not dynamic. Now, what will happen if I put constant here? I put constant here and then remove constant from here. Why it's not taking it? You might be wondering why it's not. Because a variable of type can't be assigned to a parameter type string in a constant. Why? Because this value is actually dynamic. We're passing it from the previous screen. We can pass any value we want. We can pass Flutter demo homepage. We can pass hello world. We can pass anything. Means that value can be dynamic. That value can change. That is why we cannot give a constant parameter in front of text widget here in this case. But if we just do it like this, then it becomes static. So it will take this constant. So you understand? Like whenever the value is dynamic, we cannot use constant at that particular point. But if it is not, for example, here in this case, only this text widget is dynamic. Otherwise, the text style is not changing according to any interaction or any clickable state. For example, if I click, then this text color changes to blue or white. This does not happen. This is not happening as of now. So we can use the constant parameter there, right? Then here we also have more plethora of properties. For example, we have this align. We can align text also. It's basically part of text widget. Sorry. See what we have here. See, we have text align. Sorry, it's by the name text align. So we can also align the text. For example, I want to align it right. Now what will I do is I will hot reload it. See, now you might be wondering why it's not aligned right, because it's already taken much of the space, right? What if we give it's the font size 10? It's still in center. Basically, the text we are aligning is in right. So that does not mean here basically more people get into confusion, right? What happens here is we are aligning the text as right. We are not aligning the whole widget as right. You understood? If we would have done that, okay, then how would have it have been? For example, I have this property called center title in app bar. I will set it to false. It is a Boolean value. Now I will hot reload. Okay. Now it will not take it as center. If I again give it the font size 15, it will take it from start. Basically, we are aligning the text as right, not the whole widget. So there comes this confusion. So I wanted to just clear that confusion. Okay, so this is our text widget, the most basic widget you will ever encounter while building the layouts. Okay, so we have gone through this. Now we'll go through rows and columns. What are they? How are they useful? When do we use them? Okay, so we have this body here, which is wrapped in a center. It's a layout where it takes a single child and positions it in the middle of the menu. Basically, you can understand what it is doing here, right? Now, what we'll do is we'll just remove this center. We'll remove this widget and hot reload. Understand what's happening? Yeah, but we don't need a center there, do we? What if we set this as cross-axis alignment center? Nothing is happening. Why? I'll tell you why. Because there is no padding in this particular body which we are using. This is our body, okay, and it does not have any padding, so it will not, have any space between it. It won't have any space. This we have main axis alignment or center. That means I'll go through it. First, I would like to tell you that this when we have put this inside the widget, it does not have any spacing. By default, it will have no spacing here. That's why it's not giving any space or particular like thing. Now we have column here. Okay, so column is a layout widget. It takes a list of children and arranges them vertically. Basically, for vertical positioning of widgets, we use the column. By default, it sizes itself to fit its children horizontally and tries to be as tall as its parents. So we also have like various properties to how it will, size itself and how it will position its children. Okay. So here we use main axis alignment to center the children vertically. The main axis here is the vertical axis because columns are vertical. Okay. The cross axis would be horizontal. What is this cross axis alignment? I will tell you. First, let's see what is cross axis alignment. So I'll set the cross-axis alignment as center. What did happen here? This zero came in line with the text widget. What does that mean? That means that for cross-axis alignment, that means that I want all my widgets to be aligned specifically in a starting order. So that is cross-axis alignment dot send start. But this main axis alignment is basically how you want to space it. So here, since column are arranged vertically, we will space it vertically how they take space. For example, if main axis alignment, I put it space between, a space between both of them will occur. Now, what if I do it as space evenly? It will take even space from the top, from the bottom, from the between, all of them, basically. If you can see here, same space, correct? So what these alignments do is it will help us adjust all the widgets inside the column widget, sorry, all the widgets inside this widget to properly align themselves. So we don't have to do that thing manually, right? So this is how column works. Since because we so there are two options now if we want to give a padding proper. First of all, if you want to give it like equal padding, you can just go wrap it with center. Another option could be to use the padding widget, which will give the default padding of 8 from all of the sides, like this. But as you can see, it's not giving it properly. We want a proper widget, so we want it uh, properly aligned. We want the whole column widget aligned properly. So that is why we are using, if we use it, padding 16. Here we are. Now, let's start the main axis alignment to start. Here, you've got this. So similarly, we can add multiple widgets inside this column. Like I can, add multiple text widgets here, like this. It will go on and on like this. Okay. So here there is one condition which I would also like to tell you about. What if there are like multiple widgets which you're placing on and on and on and on and on and on. Now you hot reload it, right? It's great. Now you again do it. Now, okay. Now there's something occurring here, right? We have this overflow. It's saying a render effects overflowed by 157 pixels on the bottom. Now here's what this thing you have to properly clear up. So what's happening is like this is the only height which my iPhone has as of now. If I will try to fit more widgets inside this, it will not take it, right? Because it cannot, come inside that. But you would say, no, Aman, we can now by scrolling, yes. But for that, we need to use another widget, which is called a single child scroll view. So what we do, if we wrap a column with a widget called single child scroll view, which is provided, of course, provided by the Flutter framework, then what we see here is when we hot reload, overflow goes away because we can now scroll. We can now scroll to see the content, right? Similarly, this can happen with rows also. Okay, I'll show you that later. First of all, let me show how rows will work. Right. So here we have this row, which are having two elements. Okay. Now, here also we can provide main axis alignment as well as cross axis. But here main axis alignment will be from left to right. From column it was top to down, but from row it's from left to right. So now here, what we will do is, if we set the main axis alignment as space evenly, what will happen? It will take even space between them. If we set it to space between, then it will make a space between it, but give no padding unless you have given a padding using a padding widget. Otherwise, it won't give it. So here we have cross-axis alignment, which is set to start. We can also set it to end. What will happen in that case? You see no change, huh? To you. Cross-axis alignment, how it will work here? It will create a horizontal array of children. Okay. For example, if you have a column, now you have a text widget, and again a column inside the row we are talking about, and we again have this text. Okay. Now I will tell you like when this cross-axis alignment would help us basically. What if we set it to start? Now we'll set this to end. Nothing happens, right? Now why something is not happening? We know about main axis alignment, right? It will take a space between and all. But about cross-axis alignment, why it's not working? To understand that, what we'll do is we'll use a size box widget and we'll give it a height. We'll give 500 height. Let's take a container, for example, which also has a color property and give it a drag. Why I'm using a container? We can also use colored box, basically, also. I'm giving the color to, basically check if like like how much content this my row is taking here. As you can see, I'll just decrease my height somewhat. I don't want this much height. This is my height, okay? Now we again come to this cross-axis alignment and main axis alignment, okay? I'll set the cross-axis alignment as main axis alignment as end. It's going there. Now cross-axis alignment I will set as center. Nothing is happening, right? Start, nothing is happening. Why is nothing happening? Let's see. Why is cross-axis alignment not working in a row in Flutter? Row don't take all the vertical space available by default. It takes only the needed space, but it takes all the horizontal space, right? So basically, you were asking why columns were not arrive working in flex row and column. So basically, row it's saying it is not taking all the vertical space available by default. By default, it will only take that much space which it wants. Okay. For example, to show you how it is, I will just remove this, and add another column. Okay. Now I have multiple columns. Now I have three. Now you see the cross-axis alignment and main axis alignment. Cross axis alignment is start, main axis alignment is end. Okay, I will set this to start and I will set this to center. Nothing happens, right? And whoa, nothing is happening. Now let's again see what's happening. Maybe all other people must have problems. Let's try a different keyword like flutter row cross axis alignment not working. Here we have this. What the people are saying. Because your row is placed inside a single channel, which basically is no, no, we don't want this. Let's do one more thing here. Let's remove the height as of now. Basically, we will, give flexibility for row to take its own height. Okay, it's basically taken all the height here. Now I will give it as cross alignment start. Hmm. So as you see here, this cross-axis alignment is basically used if we have a uh, vertical arrangement of children here. So I'll remove this. Okay, will not have any effect. Here it is space between, and here inside columns we can give it a cross-axis alignment, which will start itself here like this. Now, why it's working here and not working on the row part? You understand what I'm trying to say? Basically, here what is happening is when there is a vertical arrangement, cross-axis alignment would work very much easily, especially in columns, because there is a vertical arrangement. So if we want to fit that vertical arrangement properly, we can do that. But in case of rows, there is no vertical arrangement, there is horizontal arrangements, right? Now, what if I tend to use main axis alignment here? It will go to the end, right? So that means by default, column is taking all of the space it wants. But row does not do that basically. Since column goes from top to bottom, it automatically takes all the space because it has to go top to bottom when you're building the layout, right? But in the row side, it's going left to right. There's no vertical arrangement here. So what it will do is it will only take that much space which it needs. It will not take the whole space and all that. Only take that much space which all the children contents reside in it. That's it. That is why cross-axis alignment does not properly work on row because it basically work on the vertical arrangements. So the answer which this person told us was actually correct. He's like, uh, you know, row don't take all the vertical space available to it. It takes only the needed space, but it takes the horizontal space. Forcing the row to expand vertically should do the trick. But we don't want to expand it, right? We just wanted to see through the properties. So you now understand, right? So let me sum it up for you again. So in rows, we have cross-axis alignment, main axis alignment, but cross-axis alignment won't work here because it by default it does not take all the space. It takes for horizontal space, not vertical space. So only main axis alignment will work here, like arrangement of items here in a row pattern. But in columns, both of them, like cross-axis alignment as well as min-axis alignment, will work, because cross-axis alignment will help us in setting through the alignability of widgets in a vertical fashion, whereas uh, uh, min-axis alignment, which will help us to set where we need to see through the widget. For example, min-axis alignment dot end. So it's opposite here. So in column, main axis alignment help us arrange the vertical widgets position, whereas in row it will help you the same but in a horizontal position. So these are rows and columns concept. So if you don't understand a thing, please let me know in the comments. I will clarify you on there. And like if there's anything which I'm going wrong about here, you can correct. You feel free to connect me, you guys. So since I took like much time explaining rows and columns, because it's very much important, because you will be using it almost anywhere in the layout tree, right? That is why it's important to understand it. So we have gone through text, row and column, and when explaining row and column, we also went through the size box, container widget, which I will go through later in detail, single child scroll view, which we wanted to show. Acha, one thing which I left was when we are using a row. What if I put more columns here? Now how to load? Okay, sorry, let me put it at the start. Let me put basically let me put all the elements here, like text element if I wanted to. Now I'm getting overflow, right? I'm getting overflow by 181 pixels on the right. Because on the right, if you're like fitting more content than the screen width can handle, then you again need to use a single child scroll view here, right? You need to give it some scroll view or something like that. How will you do it? Uh, let's do one thing. What if we, wrap the widget with single child scroll view? What will happen? Nothing will happen. Why so? Because single child scroll view will help us achieve scrollability in the vertical fashion, not on the horizontal fashion, right? So how do we solve this problem, right? We have to solve it. What I will do here is can wrap it with, take this row and use a list view builder where, for example, if I have 10 widgets, so we don't know how many widgets there can be. There might be this situation also, right? So okay, sorry, this is item count, item builder. It will take our context, which will give us the position of the widget, and an index if we want multiple elements to go through. Then I will put that widget here, right? So now I don't need to use row. I'll tell you why I don't need to. Uh, I'll take this text and just remove my row widget. Okay. Now we set the scroll direction as horizontal or vertical. What is it saying? Let's go through the exception and check. Unbounded height. Okay, so we need a height here. Let's give it as 250. Okay. Let's give it 50. So we have the height of 50 here. Uh, and we have given the scroll direction as horizontal. Now we'll try to scroll through. So as you can see, now we have fixed that overflow problem, right? We are able to scroll through the widget basically. So here we are able to scroll through the widget. So we have fixed this problem. Now, what I have used to fix the problem here is I've used the list view builder, okay, and I have this item count here, and I have this scroll direction. So basically, list view builder is taking care of the scrollability, vertical as well as horizontal. So we don't need to use any other widget. We just use list view builder because there can be many widgets which would come across, right? So again and again, we cannot see through. So we just use a builder method, and it will automatically build elements for us, right? We can also give an index here like dollar index. Now I have to remove constant here. As you see, it is because it is dynamic. So yeah, here as you can see, u 1 2 3 4, I can achieve that horizontal scrollability. So here now what we have covered so far: text, row, column. Okay. Now container, I will go come through. First, let's look through stack. Stack and container. Let's look through it, and I will talk about the project lifecycle and everything else in the next video, as this video may be long. So I might want it to keep it between half an hour or so. I don't want it to go along like more than that. So now let's see through the stack, how the stack works. So basically we have the body here. We will remove all these widgets from the body. We'll have this stack now, which will have children. Now it's like basically same as column, but now what's the difference would be I put a text, okay, 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 and I put an icon here. I can start, add, something like this. Now you would argue why would people use stack? So basically, stack is something like if you want to overflow something or show something on top of something, then you use stack at that particular time. How does it work? So let me tell you with the proper example. Let me wrap this with container, give it a color, something like teal, okay, and wrap this also with container, color, start, purple or something. Okay. Now here, as you can see, basically we have this on top of this. Like, how do I show you? I will just remove this icon and hot reload. So as you can see, like it was covering that content. So basically for layout widgets, which we need to cover something or like something shaped like that. We need to like give an overlay type of thing. There we use these stack widgets. We'll go through more in detail when we work through different projects and build the different challenging prospects. Then I will tell you how it will be useful. This is also very much useful. So basically, these are the basic widgets which you need to use, right? And the last one was containers. Container here we have multiple properties. We have this decoration where we can basically give a color. Okay, we'll give the color here. Why? Because now if we are using decoration, we cannot use the color there. It will give an exception. I can use a border radius if I want it to be clipped somewhat. Border radius is circular, 10 50.0, something like that. By hot reload, it will be like this, right? So container has a plethora of properties like this, like decoration, text style, and we can also give mm, what do we say that? linear gradient, radial gradient. There are multiple properties which we'll go through later on the other part. I wanted to cover these basic widgets so that you basically know about before even starting the Flutter project. So you have this because you will be needing this very much. I repeat. So yeah, that was it. I wanted to cover all these things. So I would shift my app design cycle topic to the next video so that it becomes easy for you guys to watch, right? So I don't want to elongate all the videos again and again. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe and let me know what can I improve to it. What are the things I missed? What are the things I wronged or maybe corrected? Please do let me know on the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.